Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the live episode of the Frisco Report. And my co-host, Mike, Cowboys Corner. What's going on, bro?
What's up, man?
What's going on, man? So now we have a lot to discuss today, bro. Lots to discuss. We got a lot to discuss here as we get up to training camp mode here in just a few days. Actually, it's a little over 2 weeks to go, and it's gonna be here. But the first thing we want to talk about here is this here, Mike. We just kind of want to jump right into the topics here, and it goes with the title here. Amari Cooper readiness. All right. So there's a report here from Bleacher Report via SI. So we're gonna go ahead and share that on the screen. And Mike, this is really you and I kind of called this before as far as like Amari Cooper and the injuries that he kind of has. But they're now reporting that Amari Cooper is cutting it close for day one of camp amid injury rehab. All right. So looking at this a little bit closer, Mike, wide receiver reportedly cutting it close as he tries to wrap up recovery from off-season ankle surgery. You know,
Yep.
before first training camp on July 22nd. This is coming from Mike Fisher. Cowboys remain unconcerned about any long-term issues despite the short-term uncertainty. Early June, Ian Rappaport reported Cooper dealing with an irritation to his ankle that prevented him from running. That ain't good. All right. As far as Amari has an ankle that he's still working through. Cowboys coach McCarthy said at the time, he won't participate in the rest of minicamp. I'm hopeful he'll be ready for training camp. All right. So these reports starting to come out here that he was going to be ready. Now he may not be ready. Mike, what is your take here on Amari Cooper? Any concerns as far as this goes, or is this business as usual with Coop? What's your take on this, guys?
This is business as usual, Joe. I'm not sweating Amari Cooper's ankle. It's an ongoing theme. I can guarantee you one thing during the offseason is Amari Cooper's ankle is going to be talked about. All right, Joe. And yes, he had surgery, and it's just precautionary stuff that people are blowing up. It's the Cowboys. You got to find a story to talk about. It's been relatively quiet for the Dallas Cowboys so far this offseason. We are in July. Training camp will pick it up here very soon, Joe. But no, it's good that it's good that people are getting clicks and getting Cowboys names in their mouths. But at the end of the
Yeah.
day, it's just clicks. It's just views. He had ankle surgery. It takes a long time for that ankle to heal. Ask Dak Prescott; he'll tell you about ankle surgery. Um, I think he might miss the first week, be on pup list to start training camp. But at the end of the day, it's just precautionary. He's your veteran. He's your number one, and you got to make sure that his health is number one, and that's what they're doing.
Number one indeed. Number one indeed. Yeah, I think you hit it right on the head. It's better to lean towards caution than anything else. So I think that's all it is. And we've been talking about this. Expect not only Amari Cooper, but expect to get your typical vet days that the Cowboys like to do here, Mike. So if you're thinking about some vets that will get this vet treatment, what are some of those names that you could see getting that vet treatment? Your
Tyron
vet
Smith,
days off.
Lyle Collins, so many. Maybe Zeke. There's so many names.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely going to be your offensive lineman probably. Now, as far as like you know, understanding, they will get these vet days where they're off or whatever, but how much action will they see when it comes to preseason? That'll be interesting, especially, some of the guys that have been gone for a long time. Obviously, they're very tenured, right? They've been in the league for quite a long time. Maybe they really don't need those warm up type of games, but I feel like you kind of do need to knock off some of that rust and get hit in the mouth a little bit, even if it is a preseason. But what's your take, guys, on and Mike too? What is your take on how much action should some of these guys get, coming back from some of these injuries?
I'm a firm believer in everybody should play in the preseason. That's how injuries. So you sit out. it's okay to sit out the first couple of weeks of training camp, right? But you got to get your body into a groove. Sitting out of preseason don't get you into a groove. It don't get your body into a groove. I think when veterans sit out, injury rates percentages can happen. It can go to the moon, like we're talking cryptocurrency or something, right? It can go to the moon, right? And so I think they got to get their bodies some type of warmed up, stretching, all that stuff's good, doing yoga, all that stuff's great. But when it comes to week one and you got a 250-pound linebacker coming at you to hit you right in the throat and you haven't been hit since last year, there's a big problem to that, Joe. So I'm a big firm believer everybody, don't matter who you are, should be practicing, playing in preseason games, whether it's a quarter, a half, you know, a half a quarter. They got to get some kind of contact. They got to get that first hit out of the way. And that's for everybody. I'm just a big firm believer in that.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I'm with you on that as well. Anybody that's kind of played the game knows that you do need to get some of those hits out there, right? Um, but I'm pretty sure that they'll see some caution. But yeah, definitely a quarter of play. I like that. I like the sound of that. Probably nothing more. Um, but it is coming up really quick. So, guys, in the comments, appreciate brother joining us live for this quick chat here. And Amari Cooper, will he be ready or not? Shouldn't worry too much about it. Now, when should you start ringing the alarm bell, Mike? Like, whether it's Amari Cooper or anybody else, at what point would you kind of starting to be a little bit concerned?
Yeah, that's a great question. When I start getting concerned is when there's not a timeline for them to get on the field, and that's for any player, right? I start getting concerned when they're on the sidelines with the strength and conditioning coaches and not, doing some walkthroughs with the players and stuff like that. That's when I'm starting to get concerned because we talk about Leighton Vander Esch's neck, right? Just a couple of years ago, right? It was a flare up. A flare up turned into surgery. He
Yeah.
didn't play much. He missed a lot of time. He didn't practice a lot. He was with the strength and conditioning coach a lot. That's when I start getting concerned. Is when we start hearing they're with the strength and conditioning. They haven't been. They missed team drills. They missed one-on-ones. They missed this drill, that drill. That's when I start getting concerned. 1 or 2 weeks pup list. That's fine. Get your strength conditioning up. Don't pull a hamstring and be out 6 weeks. So that's when I start getting concerned. It was when those 2 weeks turned into 4 weeks, 6 weeks missing games.
Yeah, yeah, that's good, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat box.
Shout out to
Um,
everybody in that
we'll
chat
be
box.
doing Q&As, man. So throw us any questions you have about camp battles, anything like that. We'll get through those as we continue through this. But Keith, we're gonna see you guys in Oxnard. I won't be going this year. I've had a lot going on this off season, obviously, and I'm just wiped out financially in that regard. Otherwise, I had planned on going, but gonna have to skip it this year. Mike, I think you're staying in as well too, right?
I'm staying in this year. Why go to training camp when they're going to bring training camp to my TV?
Yeah, it'll be fun. Hopefully next year. We have a lot of things in the works. Mike and I, we'll try to make it at some point together as a tandem, either at the Senior Bowl or maybe the combine. They're talking about moving the combine around. That would be a lot of fun. But Mike and I, we will be doing a coverage here together. We're gonna schedule something, whether it's Senior Bowl coverage, combine coverage, or maybe training camp. Next year, definitely in the future, we'll be doing something as far as coverage, and that'll be a lot of fun. But not this year, Keith. Appreciate the question there, man. Dan, the man, Cunningham, what's going on, brother? Appreciate you coming through. See you all the time. That's great. Mario commenting here: if they can't make it to the second week of training camp, that's a bad sign, especially when they've had a long rest time. That's a good point too, right? So yeah, it's kind of what you were talking about, Mike. 2 to 4 weeks, that kind of range. So yeah, if you do see that, you definitely don't want to see it where it's like, oh, they got to go in and do a cleanup surgery, because then that's like, okay, you're gone. You ain't coming back till who knows when. So let's cross our fingers on that. It is kind of like what Coop is all about. I think this is really what he is. He kind of comes up with these little gimp injuries every now and then. Cooper will probably let's see what is Cooper will probably get let is my opinion.
Less, maybe get less.
Probably get less in my opinion.
Let go.
Let okay. Maybe some clarification on there. bro. Let's see what else we got here. I'm less
Gotta play
concerned
some
about
Wheel of
Coop than
Fortune on
anyone else. Yeah. Let's see.
Let
Ladies.
go. I mean, yep, let go. That's what he
Okay,
said.
there we go. That there we go. Marvelin Group. Appreciate you, bro. Late day work. Checking in with my guys, Joe Rod and Cowboys. Corner Mike. Yeah, appreciate you, Marvel. Appreciate you always coming through, bro. Especially the long day at work. I know how that goes.
Been there.
Keith. I live here, so I'll be supporting. Look for me on Hard Knocks. I'll be checking, man. I'll be checking. I know some of our other YouTubers will be out there, so it'll be fun. We'll get a lot of reports from everybody, from all angles. So, man, coverage is gonna be spot on this year. It's gonna be a lot of
I
fun, no doubt.
want to see what other YouTubers content. I can't wait to see that this year.
Yeah, that's always a good time. Uh, if Coop misses any real game time, I see them keeping Gallup and letting him go. Yeah, that is that's one of those like storylines to follow for the season, right, Mike? Because for me, I feel like that too. As far as like if this becomes a deal where it's always some kind of like nagging injury and he's not 100% in some of the games, because there were games, right, Mike, where he did start, but there was not much productivity, right? So could that come into play? And if that comes into the play, they probably need to do that contract before the end of the season. So that's a good point there. Dan the Man Cunningham, definitely something to keep an eye on. I think that's a good storyline to watch as the season progresses. What's your thoughts, Mike?
Yeah, I one thing about Amari Cooper though, and it's not really the ankle injury or ankle concerns, it's the consistency, Joe. That's we all know Cooper has these, and he's been having it since Alabama. He's been having it since the Raiders. He has it with the Cowboys. It's nothing new. The consistency part, guys. Let's be real here. Let's not be a fan. Let's criticize every once in a while. Amari Cooper just hasn't been consistent away and home games. That could hurt us more, right? That's what I want to see. And how does that ankle hold up, and where's that consistency at 19? That's what I want to see.
No, that's true, and that's factually. You can go back and look at the facts. That is a fact, and that's something that fans will remind you through the season. As far as like, hey, this guy doesn't show up in the home games, and it's hard to back it up because it's statistically it's a true thing. So, yeah, definitely see that. Gio Chapo, Mike Fisher gonna be drunk on Hard Knocks, possibly, possibly. John Turner, Joe, should Dallas let the rookies play? Absolutely. Absolutely. They need all the playing time they can get. That's why, I understand the whole thing with Kelvin Joseph, right? He kind of got the COVID or whatever, this heavy. Now that COVID, he has the antibodies. He's been working out, hopefully. Now it's time to get out there and get that, earn your keep, right? Earn that star. So, will it be Calvin Joseph? Will it be Nashawn Wright, who really stacked some good practices in minicamp? I think that's a good battle, man. I think it is. Now, reports are, I think Michael Gilkin reported this early on, that the favorite right now was Anthony Brown to start opposite of Trayvon Diggs, which makes sense from a veteran standpoint. But from a fan and for the future of the Cowboys, you want Nashawn or Kelvin Joseph to beat him out and be that player, right? You want these young up and coming guys to be that guy. So um, definitely something to keep an eye on. Do you let the rookies play? Mike, what's your thoughts on letting the rookies play?
I think you let the rookies play 100%. You have to. You didn't
Yeah,
you know give up draft picks for them to sit on the bench. You got to see what you got. We didn't get to see that last year with the COVID protocols and them being everything virtual and things of that sort. These rookies, even last year's rookies, Joe. I mean, this team was horrific last year.
yeah.
Even the rookies from last year, the new class of rookies this year, ball, blood and guts on that freaking Oxnard turf over there in California, Joe, and let these rookies just ball. Last year rookies, to me, last year rookies are still rookies in my opinion. They're rookie to training camp, they're rookie to Oxnard, they're rookie to an actual NFL off season. So there's going to be a lot of things. You're going to see second year players that were rookies last year mess up because this is all still new to them, right? You got to let them play all four preseason games. This should be rookie hands on deck. That includes Micah Parsons. That includes CD Lamb, Joe.
Yeah, definitely want to see those second year players, man. I think that's a good one there. Mario, yeah, we kind of hit on that. Yeah, we kind of hit on that. I think another name to actually keep in mind too is Reggie Robinson the second. He actually had a good report. He had a good camp, strong camp for year two player. So you do want to see that former fourth round pick out of Tulsa. He'll be in the mix. So you want to see that. You know where were these guys ultimately end up? You know could Kelvin Joseph be actually more of a slot guy? You know, he has that flexibility and definitely has that speed. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
just because Calvin doesn't start on the outside doesn't mean that he won't, play a nickel role or something like this. So I'm not really worried about it right now. What I do want to see from Kelvin Joseph, I do want to see him on the field making plays and out there, just because we didn't see him really in minicamp much at all. You know what I mean? Like I don't want this to become one of these types of Morris Claiborne type of deals where the dude's always dinged up. It's a wrist, it's an elbow, it's a knee. This kind of BS. Like I don't want that. So something to keep an eye on, but definitely a lot of competition, Mike. Like from the cornerbacks or from anywhere on the defense, Mike. Which competition are you really looking forward to on defense?
I'm gonna be honest. It's the defensive line. A lot of turnover on the defensive line. We got some veterans. We got some rookies, Joe. That defensive line, because that front seven, man, that's where it starts. Defensive line and linebackers. That's where it starts. And I want to see how I want to see Neville Gallimore in year two. Neville Gallimore with the real off season. Tristan Hill, how does he come off that ACL? How does that big behemoth cheeseburger that we got in the draft? Help me out with his name. I forget his name.
Bohanna.
Bohanna, yes. I want to see how he. I mean, there's so much competition, fresh faces on this defensive line. We got Retta Crawford, we got Retta Poe, and we're not doing veterans like Gerald McCoy and things of that sort, right? Injury concern, free agents, right? This is all fresh, new. Randy Gregory, a real offseason since he's been in the league, right? Tank Lawrence, I want him to have some competition. He's too busy had his head up his ass. Let's call it spade a spade here. That defensive line is going to be key because I'm so sick of tired of getting ran on every single game, Joe.
Yeah, yeah, great point. Yeah, that D line, the camp battles I think across the board on defense are really going to be the highlight of camp, and hopefully Hard Knocks will take a deep dive into that. You know what I mean? So that'll be fun. Keep the questions coming, guys, in the comments. I'll post them up as I can here.
And I
Yeah,
wanted to
John
say
Turner,
this though,
Bohanna
like
goes
letting the
through.
rookies play. This is the only way Stephen Jones' strategy is going to work. Not signing big ticket free agents. They got to hit on these rookies. You got to know what you have, and that's the only way Stephen Jones's offseason plans will work is if these rookies pan out.
Yeah. Kevin Brown, name some second year players y'all are looking out for. Mike, you got some of those second year guys that you're looking for in this training camp?
Hmm, that's a really good question. Second year players. Well, we didn't get to see a lot of our draft picks. Really, Novell Gallimore. I touched on him. He's a second year player I want to look out for. Um, Man, that's a really good question. Second year players that I want to look out for. Oh crap! Stump the chump. What's yours, Joe?
Well, for me, it would be Bradley and Nye. They had him mothballed here. We don't know if it was a coaching staff issue. They didn't want to get him on. We only saw him in one game, really, versus the Giants. In that one play, he had a splash play. He had some pressure on Daniels. So it'll be interesting to see what Anai does. I'm looking forward to that, and I'm also looking forward to Reggie Robinson. Like I said, he had some good reports from minicamp, so you like to hear that. And then your early guys, you definitely want to see these guys take it to the next level. And I don't think we're going to see a sophomore slump from Lamb, Diggs, or Gallimore. I think these guys are going to just be ascending players. I really don't see any slump from these types of guys. So for me, man, I think Anai, Reggie Robinson are the big ones. Anai, I think he's going to be battling it out for who can push off Dorrance Armstrong, who can push off some of these other guys, and I think that's going to be the battle to watch there, Mike.
Yeah, I, it's hard for me to say Anai are Reggie Robinson, Joe. And the reason why I talk because we never got to see them. So to me, it's like you have a clean slate to go do whatever you want. So the expectation for me for those players just isn't there.
It should be there, Mike. It should be there.
So it's a clean slate. If they suck, they
Yeah,
suck.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Yeah, you're right. It is definitely a clean slate. And then they'll get a clean slate with this coaching staff. So we'll see what they do. These players were drafted by Mike McCarthy. That we can't go and say, oh, these are Mike Nolan guys. No, all these guys are McCarthy guys. Even this, that's how I look at it anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So keep those questions coming. Mario's got one here. Who you got playing free safety in week 1? Good question there, Mike. Who you got there? What's your take there? Free safety, week 1.
Free safety week 1. Holy crap, Joe. It's tough, dude. I think the competition there is pretty fucking solid. Pretty solid, dude.
Yeah, I think the competition, yeah, is gonna be great, man. Because you got Donovan Wilson, he'll be in the mix. We all probably want Donovan Wilson to be that guy. You kind of heard some things here that weren't too flattering. Some reports on Donovan Wilson, but I think he's still the go-to guy. They brought in Curse. I think he's a good player to be a backup, but you want Donovan Wilson to be that player. Now, who was opposite of him? I think they brought in Kazee, but if you follow the money, they didn't pay him that much. So if the knee flares up, if he misses a bunch of time, if it doesn't work out, you can cut ties with Kazee without any major hiccups. Now, behind that though, that's why you keep hearing these rumors about, oh, that they may do a trade, they may want to bring in so and so. So I think who will be the player opposite of Donovan Wilson is very interesting. For me, it's probably going to be Kazee, but there's some other names in there to keep your eye on. You could you know I don't think the rookie Makwamu will be in the mix. I mean, he'll get some shots at that, but he's still very raw, very very raw player. Um, so Darian Thompson, is that ship going to finally run its course? I don't know. So that is still a very good question, and I think it's going to be one of these storylines that follows the Cowboys the whole season. You know, if they didn't get it fixed and they don't do any kind of trade, that has to be finally once and for all a high pick for 2022. But with these Cowboys, you just never really know. So great question there, Mario. Great question indeed, brother. Appreciate you swinging on by here. Keep the questions and comments coming. We'll see what else we got in here. Okay, John Turner says Anaya over Dorrance. I'm hoping so, John. I really am.
It's hard
Dorrance,
to say
he is
that,
just really he had a low ceiling, man. You know what I mean? As a 4th round pick, coming out of Kansas, he didn't really hasn't done much for us. So yeah, because Ian Wilson, I think that's what they're hoping that'll be, and it should be that. You know what I mean? So we'll see how it goes there with that. Here we go. Here's a good question here, Mike. Who is insurance at center? Should Biadish continue with nagging injuries? Great, great question. Marlon Grew, what you got there, Mike?
yeah, you got Connor McGovern there with Zach Martin coming back. You got that right guard position filled. So you got Connor McGovern that can step in there. Connor Williams, I think, can step in there and play some center too. I wouldn't be surprised if you see him during this Hard Knocks episode getting some reps there at that center position just to mix some things up. But again, I said this a couple of shows back. I wouldn't be surprised if Joe Looney comes in here late. They have done that before. Joe Looney is a June July signing, so Joe Looney he's still hanging in the balance. They could bring him in here for some veteran presence there at the center position.
Yeah, that's a great point. And as far as like you know, if you want somebody to be, that charismatic guy on the camera, it would be Joe Looney. Now that would be like a gimmick signing for me, just because they're on Hard Knocks. Oh, let's get this guy in here, put him in front of the camera. I think that would be such a gimmick. But as far as like the being a valid backup, I think Joe Looney he's an okay backup. I think he's somebody that you could put him there in a pinch for a few games. He's not going to give you much. You know what I mean? So, but if it's not Looney because he's not on the team right now, if we're talking about the players that are on the team right now, you're probably looking at maybe Farniak, out of Nebraska, the late round pick. That's somebody that you may want to develop. But if you keep that guy, you're probably going to go a little bit shorter as far as like maybe one of your backup guards, one of your backup tackles, that sort of thing. So, but I think they're well protected there, Mike. Like you brought up McGovern. He has that experience coming out of Penn State, playing some center there at a high level, and guard. Obviously, he looks a lot stronger to me. Biadish looks huge to me. I've been watching him all offseason. You see that body take on that NFL. He is when I say behemoth, he is a behemoth. I mean, he is that guy's going to take out some nose tackles, and he's going to put it on some people this year. But it's a great question, Marvel Group, because he has had nagging injuries. You can't deny that. When he was at Wisconsin, and he tweaked the hamstring in pregame warmups. Like that's kind of crazy, right? So let's hope that none of that.
That's stretching.
Let's hope that doesn't come up here. Um, Hey, Lavelle, appreciate the super chat. What's up, Joe and Mike? Hope you both and your families are doing well. Keep up the great work. Let's go, Cowboys. We appreciate you, Lavelle, man. Appreciate you coming through every time we go live, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Hey, Lavelle, family's great. Hope you and your family had a great 4th of July, brother. Appreciate it.
Yeah, indeed. Everybody still have their fingers. Everybody made it out safe.
How's JPP doing?
Yeah, somebody check up on JPP. The lunatic. Haven't seen the lunatic in a while. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you on board as well, guy. Let's see what else we got in here, guys. We got a question here. One of the undrafteds. Could we see a player who is a good athlete change into a different side of the ball? Brian Smith, undrafted wide receiver, to safety. Could we see that? Yeah, I think you could see that, but that's more of a practice squad type of a thing, right? Like if this guy is brought into the team and they want to take a look at him in a different position, you're looking more at practice squad considerations. In my opinion, what you have a take on that, Mike?
I don't have a take on that, man. Good question though.
Yeah. See what else we got in here, guys. Keep those questions coming. Do appreciate you on this here. I got Mario. Got a good question here from Mario. If Jalen is just average or worse, he in the team after the season. Is he on the team after the season, Mike?
I'm still holding true to my prediction, Joe. Before training camp starts, Jalen Smith will be traded.
Before training camps, is that what you said?
Yeah, before January 22nd, their first practice, July 22nd, excuse me. Jalen Smith will be traded here within the next 10 days, my opinion.
You heard it here first from Mike. He wants Jalen out of here.
There's no reason for him to be on this team. He wasn't even getting starting reps. The only reason why they would keep him is they value depth of that position. Other than that, go get something for this guy. You took a chance on him. He panned out for you for 1 year. Get some what do you call it? Some asset out of him, some equity out of him. Get some
draft capital. Yeah, bro, you could, but how much would you get? I think some people would overvalue what you get for him. I always see people on Twitter saying, "Hey, trade so and so and get this much." I'm like, you ain't getting crap for this guy. So I think for Jalen, I don't think you would get much for him either. Everybody sees the same thing we do. Now, will they trade him? I think they're gonna give him a look. How does he look in here? Do they have a role for him or Leighton Vander Esch? We heard that it was Micah Parsons and Jalen Smith with more, mini camp action. They were calling it 911 for a moment before the PC police showed up. So is Leighton Vander Esch a guy that might get traded out of here? They're not going to bring. They skipped the 5th-year option. For me, I think they're going to let all this stuff play out. The Cowboys typically, historically, are rarely ever trade their own players away. You know what I mean? It's very, very rare that they do this. and they sure haven't really done it with Stephen Jones. Not to say that it won't happen, right? So it's definitely a good question. Now Mario's asking at the end of the season, right? So if he's just average or worse at the end of the season, yeah, he's out of here. They have people in place here already that kind of will already do his role. Got Micah Parsons, Jabril Cox, and then you have the draft coming up as well. So for next year, yeah, if it's the same old, yeah, I would expect them to pass on that.
Yeah, but here's my thing though. They drafted Micah Parsons, which granted we all knew they were going corner. You know what I'm saying? But Micah Parsons fell in their lap, so they
Yeah,
went right. They could have went a different position. No, they stuck with Micah Parsons. They got Jabril Cox, a steal in the 4th round, right? They signed free agent Keanu O'Neal, not knowing they were going to get Micah Parsons and Jabril Cox, right? Not knowing that they were going to get those. So they got they invested 3 linebacker positions here. Sean Lee retired, and you let the bottom tier of your linebackers go. You pick up some good experience there with Keanu O'Neal, Micah Parsons, and Jabril Cox. Leighton Vander Esch's 5th-year option didn't get on the wall, and Jalen Smith. Everybody knows how he played in the front office. Ain't not naive enough to know how bad he played. Right, the writing's on the wall, guys, for both of them, in my opinion.
yeah, no, it's definitely great. This is another storyline. I mean, the Cowboys storylines for this year are endless, and I love it. And we're here for it. Philly's saying, "Nah, Jalen not gone. He's a Jerry guy." And there's definitely something to that too, right? You have your GM slash owner, who at the end of the day is the one that will say, yay or nay. So it's the truth, and we'll see what happens there, Philly.
Philly, really, really.
The lunatic teams won't trade for his contract versus production next year. Number 9 gone in his opinion. Yeah,
And
yeah,
it
definitely.
just makes his jersey swap even more ridiculous.
Yeah, so it's definitely something that could be it could just be one of those situations where it's just an inevitable type of thing. But for this year, they might just write it out and see how it goes. Yeah, I mean, you can never have too many of these players as the season goes on. You get a lot of attrition. At a lot of these big games. Rarely do you ever make it out the season without any sorts of injuries or missed time. So, and you do need some veterans out there. So I think we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Let's see what else we got here, guys. Joey Arizona, can I give a shout out to my Phoenix Suns? Let's go. Yeah, I kind of checked out, man, on basketball once my Mavs were out of it. Once Luca was out, I was done, bro. I was done.
I can't follow any other sports, man. I'm all Cowboys, man. That's the only professional or college team that I watch.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Some people that they only have one for sure. Ryan Doyle, hey Joe and Mike, great show, fellas. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate
Oh,
everybody that's joining us live in effect here. We definitely have a lot coming up here as we get closer to
training.
training camp. We do. I think Mike. I think we're gonna do a definitely. But before camp starts, we're gonna do a watch list for the draft. So we're gonna give you a show of players to watch for the draft. We know that the Cowboys camp is coming up, but we want to give you a list of players to watch for draft coverage. You know what I mean? Like just somebody to keep an eye on. Write the name down, watch them, see how they look through the season, and how they could contribute to the Cowboys the following season. So we'll do a show of that in the next week or two. We'll do that. We'll do that before camp gets started. So maybe next week or the week after, um, we'll get that going, guys. So appreciate that. The lunatic got a question here for us. Here we go. What's more likely, Cowboys sign a veteran defensive tackle or a veteran cornerback before week 1, Mike?
I'm gonna say neither. Neither. They double dipped at both of those positions, including the linebacker. I think if they were gonna bring a veteran in here, it could be maybe the either or of the safety positions. But you don't double dip in either of those. And they brought, I don't know. I don't think it's either of them. I think it's going to be either safety or possibly tight end.
Yeah, I think that's a good question. Cowboys sign a veteran, and there was rumors that they were going to look at Geno Atkins. I don't know on board. That's another washed up player, camp body type of guy. If they do, I think you're looking more at a camp body type of situation. Now, if they bring in a veteran defensive tackle, you could be looking at somebody on the way out, like maybe Tristan Hill. Maybe they're trying to move him behind the scenes. You know what I mean?
I see what he's
Um,
doing here, Atkins or Richard Sherman. I see what you're doing, the lunatic.
yeah. So cornerback, you know, I they might put somebody in there just for preseason reps, this sort of thing. It's not going to be any flashy names or anything like that. So um, I really don't. I think they're done myself. If they do add, it's going to be some low level guy just to bring them to camp, take on some of those preseason snaps. You know what I mean? So, but definitely something to look forward to. Good question there, the lunatic. Appreciate you, bro. Let's see what else we got here. Mario, you got a question here from Mario. Joe, can you see Jerry signing Earl just for Hard Knocks? That would be a Jerry move for sure. Yeah, so that definitely would be a Jerry move, right? But at the same time, there will be those that are out there that would be like, well, shoot, it could be a Jerry move, but it still might be an upgrade over Kazee, right? So, but I think the ship is sailed on that as well. I think they're done with the whole Earl Thomas thing. If if they wanted him, they would have brought him in here, early already. I think because you look at Dan Quinn, he already has kind of his core guys that can help him install the defense a little bit easier as far as like what he's looking for. With Kazee and Neal, I think he'd rather have those two guys in here than Earl Thomas. You know what I mean? So but yeah, man, I could see Jerry doing some weird stuff just for Hard Knock. Like I said, Joe Looney would be kind of like that. Earl Thomas would be something like that. Um, Maybe Richard Sherman, something like that. Somebody that's charismatic that can command the camera and this sort of thing. So I don't know. We'll see what they do there. But for me, I think they're done bringing in players here. I think they want to have their own crew. They want to raise their own guys from the ground up and see where they go from there. What's your thought, Mike?
I have no comment on this one.
All righty then. John Turner, no vet help. Charles Haley is a coach for the D line. So yeah, they got some good ones there. They got some good players indeed that they're going to be in the mix. A lot of young guys. Philly, y'all want Ertz? We'll take a fifth and a sixth. No, I'm good, man. I feel like Ertz is on the backside of his career. That's why they're trying to move him. I like Dalton Schultz as my tight end one. I think he's gonna really just he's gonna put the league on notice, man.
I used to do a show every Saturday on YouTube with some other YouTubers, and I was the only one that talked about Dalton Schultz out of Stanford.
There you go, there you go. Let me pat you on the back there, because man, you're right, dude. Dalton Schultz, I think, has really turned into something really good for. I think he's gonna have a spectacular season. That's why he's on my top four players to sign before the end of the season. Because if he balls out like I think he is, they're not gonna be able to afford him. You know what I mean?
You can't, yeah, and you can't have that many cap dollars on one side of the ball.
Yeah, and that's the thing about the defense, right? You look at the offense, and all the money and high picks are have been allocated to the offense, right, Mike? And
And it's been that way for
it's
years.
been like that for years. So let's get some equilibrium on both sides of the ball. Hopefully, with this past draft, that'll put us in the right direction. Yeah. See what else we got in here, guys. See what else we have in here, guys. Any other questions here before we cut out here? John Turner, Al Harris from Green Bay for the backfield. Yeah, yeah, they kept them. They kept them around here. I like him as our DB coach. Actually, I think he knows a lot. He was one of the high end, a really good player. Man, he gave us fits. I hated going up against Al Harris back in the day. I liked him as a coach. I'm glad they kept him on.
Yeah.
But I think that's it, guys. I think we got some good Q&A here from you guys here, and talking about that Amari Cooper deal. We're not cracking the alarm bell quite yet, but I think at some point like you said, Mike, after 2 to 4 weeks, you kind of get in that little zone of I don't know. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep an eye on that. But guys, we do appreciate you guys. Mike, let everybody know where they can find you if they haven't already, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Cowboys Corner right here on YouTube, and underscore Cowboys Corner there on Twitter, guys. And if you're new to cryptocurrency or you ever thought about getting into cryptocurrency, slide in my DMs, guys. I'll tell you what currency to invest in. All right, I'm not a financial advisor, so slide in the DMs at your own risk.
Yeah, that was good. Good to put that out there. Appreciate everybody that joined us on here tonight, guys, and we'll see you for the next episode of Frisco Report. Make sure you guys check back later in the week for my defensive side of the pre-camp preview. So with that being said, we'll catch you for the next one, guys. Peace.